Joe and I have we've known each other for a long time, for a while. We've worked together a couple times. We've driven to Killeen, Texas together before, which is random, but that's coming to mind. Yeah, I've known Joe for a while, so it was great to get to work with him again in this capacity where he has a lot of control, and it was actually pretty collaborative. It's breath of fresh air. It was real fun.
I could say that I've done a lot of research for Danny in my 20s. I don't know if necessarily like I would take everything when I was in my 20s and earlier 30s before I had a girlfriend. But I mean, everybody knows Danny. Everybody's got a friend who's like Danny, who just, likes going out, likes getting trashed, seems a little simple-minded, not too much cooking upstairs all the time.
In the story, it kind of seems as though objectification is just rampant, and as the story progresses, it kind of dissipates. It gets a little softer. You start thinking about the heart more, and I think that's a lot of what Joe's trying to get across. So, it's kind of a transformation, really, from a guy who just objectifies women and doesn't really see what's important at the end of the day initially. And ultimately he matures and he realizes that what's important isn't necessarily on the outside or superficial. Like, you can connect with somebody and have a significant connection, regardless of your taste in shoes or whatever that may be. So I think that's kind of what Joe's touching on. That's what attracted me to the story.
What I see in the story is a rite of passage, for a lot of men, not all men, but it is a rite of passage. Like, you look at women just as an object, and then you start connecting, and some guys don't go through that though. Some guys, that happens when they're 2, 4, 5. Some guys it doesn't happen at all. Some guys, unfortunately, they never could connect with women. Or some guys it happens when they're 40, 30, 40 years old. I mean, that's like what comes to mind when I think about this piece. I was actually waiting for about an hour and 25 minutes to see Joe. And there was about 7 other guys that were in front of me. And after about the second person that came down, I realized what was going on. And I realized that Joe was taking his time and working with each actor and giving them the time and really working the scenes as an actor's director would do. So with that in mind, it was like, I knew the guy was like, he was onto something. And then I went in and it was great. I mean, Joe was great.
He's absolutely dedicated, locked in the entire time, and no different for this, even though he had immensely more responsibility. But that just makes everybody else's job easier if the guide, guiding the ship knows the whole map, so to speak. So that made all of our jobs easier because it was like he knew what he wanted. We still discovered stuff on the day, not to say that it was
Right.
So that you
He was
can.
still flexible.
It
It
was
was still open.
still collaborative.
Yep.
It wasn't like, not to say that other directors I've worked with are like that, but it can be like that because
Because he wrote it, and sometimes that's what comes with it too. If somebody's the writer.
he also realizes, and I guess this is a testament to the people he's worked with, that he's open to collaboration. He realizes it's art, that it's not finite.